Well, welcome everyone to Morning Flow. We'll get going in about 3 minutes. So, grabbing whatever is right and good for your practice this morning. Glass of orange juice, maybe a cup of coffee, a bottle of water, yoga mat if you use a mat, and we'll see you real soon. All right, let's get going. All right. Welcome everyone to Morning Flow. I'll allow you to come to the top of your yoga space, challenging your balance. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. If that's too challenging, of course, feeling free to work a wider stance. From our feet, finding our legs. From our legs, finding our spine. Relax shoulders tall through the crown. A slight tuck of the chin as we start to bring our attention inward. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart, lining up each finger, a light press of your thumb against your sternum. Soft eyes if you're comfortable with closing your eyes. Doing that, and we'll start just by watching as our breath flows in and out, arriving here on our yoga mats, ready for our morning yoga practice. From this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, matched by a long, slow exhalation. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the top of the chest, the base of the belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll invite you to draw the low belly in and up to squeeze a little more air out, also providing structural support for a low back in any of these shapes, in any of these sequences. Now moving towards a go-to breath in many flow practices, a slight constriction of the base of the throat, finding your Ujjayi or ocean breath, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your Ujjayi breath, your victorious breath, your ocean breath, be a focus for your practice, often compared to the sounds of the waves of the ocean as they wash in and as they wash out. Now taking the tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth, trying to keep that connection throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed, keeping us from grinding our teeth, and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. Finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, if you closed your eyes, opening your eyes, and we'll bring hands by our side. Welcome, Kathy. Warming up our shoulders, working with our breath. I'll invite you to inhale the arms up and over the head. And exhale, arms down. 2 more times, breathing arms up. Exhaling, arms down. 1 more time, inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Finding a forward fold and a back bend, half sun style. Breathing in, arms overhead. Exhaling, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to arc the back, lifting chin and tail. On the exhale, rounding the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, neutral spine, hinging at the hips, arms up and over the head for Urdhva Hastasana, hands over head pose. Exhaling, hands by our side. 2 more times like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more to go here. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, folding. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, neutral spine, rising on up. Exhaling, standing tall. So Namaskar, with or without vinyasa. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, grounding down with your hands. We have options, either finding your down dog and holding, or elbows soft as we find Chaturanga Yoga, push-up. Inhaling into a back bend, cobra or up dog. And then exhaling back to down dog. Other options might be a child's pose. You might find an all fours position. Always finding that balance between your effort and your ease. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in and as your Ujjayi breath flows out. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, fold. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one, much like the first. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out. Back to down dog as you will, either stretching straight back and holding, or cycling through Chaturanga. Inhaling into up dog or cobra. And then stretching it back to down dog. As we hold down dog, another 4 or 5 breaths. Either holding the pose in relative stillness or walking the dog as you pedal your feet. Stretching it out, seeing how your bodies feel this morning. What feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, right in the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more Surya Namaskar. We'll add an option into the mix to generate a little more tapas or heat. Inhaling, arms up and over the head. Exhaling, folding. Take a breath to find length, and then breathing out, back to down dog as you will, either stretching straight back or cycling through vinyasa. Guido, welcome. In down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your breath flows in and as your breath flows out. So we'll add that option now. So feeling free to hold your down dog, certainly, or your child's pose, wherever you are. Generating more tapas or heat, I'll invite you to come forward on an inhale to plank pose, and then on the exhale, lifting hips high. Inhaling forward to plank. Exhaling, drawing it back. This last one I'll invite you to hold. Inhaling forward to plank. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath, breath in. And then breath out, stretching it back to down dog. And holding for another breath or so. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B. We've added on a little bit to this one. Inhaling into our chair pose, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big solo wand dive over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Vinyasa really just means connective movement. The traditional in Ashtanga with a small A is the push up, the back bend, and then down dog. But you might just find a plank pose and then hold that for a breath or two and then draw it on back. Flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a three-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Looking between the hands, sweeping that right foot on through. Spinning the left heel down, finding your warrior one, front knee bent, arms up and over the head. And then on the exhale, spinning the palms out, finding your low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. And again, Vinyasa is just connected movement. Kathy's doing the very traditional Chaturanga into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana and then back to Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Again, you can always find plank pose, hold it for a couple of breaths. We do a lot of push-ups in this particular practice. And you want to keep your shoulders happy. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Looking between the hands, sweeping that left foot on through. Spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head for our Hero One pose. And then on your next exhale, back to low lunge. And then back to down dog as you will. And again, those other options, you can always throw in a child's pose. All fours position. Again, always finding that balance between your effort and your ease. Your sukha and your sthira. Or actually, I reverse that. Your sthira and your sukha. So effort, sthira, sukha, ease. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step. Or maybe take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, stay low, knees over toes, hands over head for the chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, maybe a little half back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by our side. Let's do one more Surya Namaskar B. We'll throw a hip opening sequence into the mix. It starts with the chair. Inhaling. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length, and then breathing out, back to down dog as you will. Again, take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. From down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, finding a three-legged dog, right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Without overly disturbing the shoulders, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, sweeping that right foot on through, spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head for warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Awesome. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Without overly disturbing the shoulders, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, sweeping that left foot on through, spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head for our warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Either finding your vinyasa, maybe sneaking in that child's pose, maybe holding an all fours position, wherever you're working. Breathing, watching that breath, and enjoying your reflection upon that breath. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long smooth breath in, long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, stay low. We'll come to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart, either keeping a light press of your palms as your weight gathers in your feet, or adding an isometric engagement as we press the palms together, elbows wide, a tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, as we find the strength of our center. And then hands by our side. A palate cleanser here. I'll invite you to either step or jump your feet hip width apart. One of my favorite exercises here. On the inhale, we bring the arms out to the side. On the exhale, we'll cross the hands in front. You might give those wrists a little flick as we bend the knees. And then switching across. And we'll do 6. Halfway done. Last 2 each way. 1 more each side. And then back up. And hands by our side. Let's either step or jump it back in, thin like a pin. From here, finding our chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Now finding the power chair, Ardha Utkatasana. Making our way back to down dog as you will. Maybe some of y'all will play with a jump back as we ground down through 2 palms. The hips stay high as we unfold those legs back. And then either cycling through vinyasa or finding your down dog. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Without overly disturbing the shoulders, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, sweeping that right foot on through. Arms up and over the head for our warrior one. In warrior one, let's back it off a little bit as we bring hands back to our hips, shifting the weight onto the front foot to lengthen our stance as we step the back foot a little farther back. Traditionally, that's heel to heel alignment. You could always go wider. We can steer our back hip front, front hip back. We can bring hands to shoulders to steer the heart front and remind those shoulders to relax. From here, finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart and throat, 4th and 5th chakra, and then stretching those hands high to the sky. From here, spinning palms back, straightening front leg without locking knee, breathing in as we gather up the energy. On the exhale as we offer it out. And we'll do 6 of these. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. 3 more to go. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in, breathing out, and holding for a big breath into your heart. As the elbows move back, the hands come with, I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers, keeping our hands supple. Now turning warrior 1 into warrior 2. Hands find the heart. You can open up the hips to face the side wall. You might kick the back foot in just a tad. Traditionally, that's heel to arch alignment. Having said that, you could always work it wider. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. From here, painting rainbows, palm faces back, inhaling, straightening front leg without locking knee, exhaling warrior 2. And we'll do 6 of these. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in, breathing out, warrior 2. From here, I'll invite you to find a rainbow warrior, a clasp of the fingers behind the back, shoulder blades back and down onto rib shelf. Level 1, just hanging out here. Level 1.5, I'll invite you to take a little forward fold inside the front leg. Those of you that have taken the forward fold, shoulders draw up and back towards the hips as you relax the neck and heavy the head. Whether you're working level 1 or level 1.5, I invite you to add a little swing, a little sway. Starting to break up any log jams in our body. So the 10,000 energy currents, the nadis, can flow freely to stretch, to strengthen, to heal. Those of you that have taken the forward fold, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as you bring it on up, getting a nice stretch in the back of the neck. Lifting the chin tall through the crown as we come back to warrior 2. From here, transitioning to extended side angle pose. Back hand finds the hip, front leg stays bent. Let me go a little sideways here. We can park forearm on top of the thigh, the palm faces up. 4 steps on the top arm, we can let it hang down towards the floor. Now stretching it high to the sky. Now stretching it away, so perpendicular to the body, more space in the shoulder joint. And now keeping that sense of space as we sweep it front. From here, working that top shoulder as we circle the hand back, tracing it with our eyes. Exhaling, letting it soften. Breathing in and breathing out. 1 more this direction. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing into extension, now reversing those circles, exhaling as we find flexion. Inhaling into extension. 2 more times. Exhale and inhale. Last one. Exhale and inhale and hold. Long through that back leg, the torso, the arm, the fingers. Yeah, so point your arm towards the screen. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. From here, moving towards our half moon, hand finds the hip. We take a big step in, right hand well off to the right as we set our base, shifting weight into foot and hand as we lift back leg up. We can set that shoulder, we can stretch hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky with that mixture of effort and ease. I'm going to make a little adjustment here. Is it okay on your shoulder? Nice, beautiful. In our half moon, I'll invite you to bring hand back to the hip. Bending the front leg, trying to keep that hand down as long as you can, landing back foot. Now shifting weight into the feet as you come back to your warrior 2. Sometimes the stance gets shortened on that landing, so you feel free to go longer in the stance as we come back to that warrior 2. And then a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders, lifting back heel up for a low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Again, take your time, find your flow. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. High on the right toes. Without overly disturbing the shoulders, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that left hip. Awesome. And then looking between the hands, sweeping that left foot on through, spinning the back heel down, finding your warrior one, arms up and over the head. We'll back it off a little bit here as we bring hands back to hips to lengthen our stance. And again, if that's, you're already plenty long, stay just where you are. Steering back hip front, front hip back. Steering and relaxing those shoulders. Now finding the odd clasp to the fingers, pressing head into the hands, open heart, open throat, and then stretching those hands high, and with the breath, gathering up the energy, inhaling, exhaling, offering it out. Breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in, and breathing out. Halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last two, breathing in, breathing out. Last one, breathing in, breathing out, and holding. Again, elbows move back, the hands come with. We can wiggle those fingers. This is a great go-to stretch at any time in your day, this letter W shape. From here, turning one into two. As hands find the heart, we open up the hips to face side wall. You might adjust the stance or not. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that steady yet relaxed gaze. From here, painting rainbows, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Three more to go. Breathing in, breathing out. Last two. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Breathing in, breathing out. Warrior two. And now finding our rainbow warrior. Finding that odd clasp of the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades back and down. Level one, you'll stay right here. Level 1.5, leading with the heart, just like in the sun cells. As we take a forward fold inside the front leg. As we draw the shoulders up and back towards the hips. Relaxed neck. Heavy, heavy head. Whether you're level 1 or level 1.5, a little swing, a little sway. It's breaking up any log jams in our body. Most of us probably slept 6 to 8 hours last night when we're still. Great place to be, but anatomically sometimes things get a little clogged, a little congested. We want to free all that stuff up. Those of you that added the forward fold, a strong tuck of the chin to get a nice stretch in the back of the neck as we bring it on up to our warrior two shape. From here, transitioning to Trikonasana, extended side angle pose. Back hand finds the hip. We park the forearm on top of the thigh. 4 steps on the top arm. We're just going to let it hang. And any tension drain down through those fingers. Now we're going to stretch that hand high. Now we're going to stretch it away from our bodies, perpendicular. And now we're going to sweep it front. So we've got one long line, that's it, between back foot and top hand. 4 steps on the top arm. We're going to circle that top shoulder here. So we circle the hand back as we trace it with our eyes. Exhaling, letting it soften. 2 more times this way. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We'll reverse the direction here. Breathing in. Now exhaling as we find flexion. Inhaling into extension. Exhaling. And inhaling. I think we got one more to go. Exhaling. And inhaling. Let's do one more for good measure. Exhaling. And inhaling. And hanging out here. Lots of length on that top line. And then moving towards our half moon. Take your time. Hand finds the hip. A big step in. Taking the time to set your base. You could always add a second hand. Lifting back leg. Second hand can find the hip. We can stretch that hand high. Maybe looking up to the sky. Again, you want to think, just like in Warrior 2, one long arm. So there's a nice straight line there. Beautiful, Kathy. We're balancing. We're breathing. Taking your time on the dismount, hand finds the hip. We're going to try to keep that hand down as we land the back foot, shifting weight into the feet as we come back to Warrior 2. And sometimes there's a shorter stance when we come down, so feel free to go a little longer. And then from Warrior 2, that big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders for low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Again, take your time. It's a strenuous sequence, always feeling like you can take that child's pose or all fours. Great thing about working at home is you get a lot more freedom to do exactly what you like. And not to say you couldn't do that in a studio, but some of us get caught up in that group energy, which has its good aspects too. Sometimes it forces us to push ourselves a little higher, harder. From our down dog shape, long smooth breath in, long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way front. Take a breath, the fine line. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. Options. Hands find the heart. Very peaceful. Light press of the palms as your weight gathers in your feet. Option 2, that isometric engagement. Option 3, a different option, isometric engagement, as we clasp the fingers, heels of the hands stay together as we try to pull the hands apart. And then hands by our side. Let's do a fun shoulder exercise here. So let's find that clasp of the fingers. Let's pretend our left hand's an elevator, and we're going to ride the right hand up to the sky. Left hand's still an elevator, and we bring right hand back down to the heart. Let's do that 2 more times. We elevate right with left. We descend. Left supports right. One more time. Left pulls up. Left supports on the way down. Switching our elevator. Now right hand's the elevator. We bring left hand up. And we ride left hand down. Right brings left up. Right supports left as it comes down. One more here. Left rides up. And left rides down. Releasing the clasp of the fingers. Hands find the hips as we either step or jump our feet hip width apart. From here, knees soft. We're going to make soft little fists here. And we're going to tap one side of the navel and its mirror image in back. One more like this. Back fist stays doing just what it does. Front fist taps just below the shoulder. And we'll do 3 both sides. Back fist keeps doing its thing. Top fist taps top of shoulder. Front fist taps top shoulder. One more each way. And we'll start our back our way down. We tap just below the shoulder. Front fist taps either side of the navel. And then we're going to lose those soft fists as we start to slow it down. And then back to center. Let's do one more exercise before we do another standing pose sequence. I'll invite you to make 2 fists just below the navel. On the inhale, we're going to trace a line from this place through the heart. We'll spin the palms to face up to the sky as we breathe out through the mouth. So inhale. Now exhale. Inhale. And we'll do 6. Inhale. Halfway done. Last 2. Last one. And then hands by our side. From here, let's jump it back in, thin like a pin. We'll find our chair pose, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. Finding the power chair, the skier's posture. Now playing with your jump back if you choose. Eventually move back in down dog. Grounding down through 2 palms, we unfold those legs back. And then either finding your down dog or maybe cycling through chaturanga. Inhaling into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And then exhaling back to your down dog. Again, there's other ways to move through space with grace. Finding a way that works for you this morning. From here, let's work another 3-legged dog variation, the dragon dog, with a twist. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Now bringing right knee to right elbow, exhaling. And then inhale it up. Now finding the twist, right to left. And inhale it up. We'll bring it center and hold. Exhaling knee center. Inhale and hold. And then on that next exhale, try to get the foot right between the hands as we spin the back heel down, arms up and over the head for our warrior one. Backing it off a little bit, hands come back to the hips as we lengthen the stance if appropriate for you this morning. Again, we can steer front hip back, back hip front, steering the shoulders, opening up fourth and fifth chakra as we press head into hands, and then finding a tray in front. From here, breathing in as we gather in the energy. On the exhale, offering it out. And we'll do 6. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out in. Holding. Elbows move back. The hands come with. Wiggling those fingers. From here, right hand finds right hip, so front hip. We're going to find length on the left side, reaching up. And then reaching out. Reaching up. And reaching out. Reaching up. And reaching out. Halfway done. Reaching up. And out. 2 more to go. Reaching up. And out. Last 1. Reaching up. Now we're going to move towards revolved extended side angle as we reach. The back heel stays down. We can start a twist with the wrist. We can slide to the elbow, either staying here or finding your prayer hands. As you press those palms together, feel the shoulder blades wrapping around and in as we open up 4th chakra, heart chakra. I'll invite you to lift the chin ever so slightly as we open up 5th chakra. Solidly grounding down through that back foot, strong back leg. From the strength and stability of that leg, finding a little more stability to go a little farther into the twist, even if it's just on an energetic level. Coming out of our twist easily as we frame front foot with both hands. Big step in as we find Parsvottanasana, the pyramid pose. Big angle on the back foot as we straighten the front leg. Shoulders dropping back towards the hips as we relax the neck and heavy the head. If your hands easily reach the floor, awesome. If not, you could always bring hands onto your shins. Hands on floor is going to be more stable. You'll be able to push the stretch a little bit further. Hands on the shin, less stable, but you're going to have to find some stability by engaging the core. So I like this option a lot. Now inviting more prana, more life force into our hips. When we sit during the day, we tend to get congestion in this place, so now we want to chase that congestion away. We'll move between warrior 1 hips and warrior 2 hips as we swing our hips to face side wall and then squaring the hips front. And I'll let you do this your own pace, your hips. Make sure it feels good. And now moving towards the hardest of the standing poses on 2 feet, the revolved triangle. As we square the hips front, we bring left hand to the sacrum, the palm faces up as if we're holding water. We don't want to spill the water, we want to keep the hips stable. Breathing in, finding length through both side waists, and then keeping that length as we turn our heart towards that straight front leg. Hand either stays on the shin, if you can find the floor inside or outside the foot. We can set that shoulder. We can maybe stretch hand high to the sky, maybe hand just stays on the shin, and you work the primary action or floor of the twist. Sorry, I taught that pose wrong there. It's the left hand, the one that's on the sacrum. No, wait a minute. Right hand is on the sacrum. Sorry, everybody, it's early. Left hand is either on shin or walks in, and then we lift that hand high. So, my bad on that one. Beautiful, Kathy. Hopefully everyone is in a semblance of this shape. If not, it's all good. There's 10,000 shapes. If you're in a shape and it's something that you don't often do, most probably you're getting benefits as long as you're mindful and not pushing too hard. Coming out of our revolved triangle, if that's what you found, easily, as we frame front foot with both hands, Big step back as we find our lunge. And from lunge, back to down dog. As you will. Deep, full breaths. Awesome. Nice, Kathy. As we hold that down dog, coming back to that easeful breath. That's one of the primary energy flows is that flow of the breath. So we start to free that flow up. All the other flows tend to harmonize with that main primary flow. Second side, we're going to do that dragon dog. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Bringing left knee to left elbow. Give it a tap, maybe. If not, no big deal. And then back up. Now bringing left to right. And then back up. Last one we're going to hold. Knee comes center. Inhale and hold. And then on that exhale, try to get the foot right between the hands as we engage that core. Hands up and over the head for our warrior one. Again, backing it off, hands find the hips as we adjust our stance if that's what your body wants this morning. One last time this morning, we're going to steer the hips front. We're going to square the heart front. Finding that odd clasp, pressing head into the hands, open heart, open throat, and then finding a tray in front, breathing in as we gather energy into our center of balance. On the exhale as we offer it out. And we'll do 6. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. We got 2 more to go. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Breathing in, breathing out and holding. The elbows move back, the hands come with. We can ripple those fingers. Now moving towards our twist. Left hand finds left hip. We're going to find length on the right side, reaching up and then reaching out. Reaching up and then reaching out. Reaching up and reaching out. 3 more to go. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now we're going to reach. The back heel stays down for this version of this shape here. We can start the twist with the wrist. We can slide to the elbow. We can keep hand on hip. We're finding prayer hands. As you press those palms together, shoulders move back and down. Open heart. We can lift the chin ever so slightly. Open throat. 4th and 5th chakra, community and communication. As we move through our day, 4th and 5th chakra, super important. As we communicate in our various communities. I'm going to take this one slow. Coming out of your twist easily as hands frame the front foot. Big step in as we find Parsvottanasana. If you can keep the hands down and straighten that leg, awesome. If that's not happening, you can bring hands onto shin. Wherever you choose to work, without losing your balance, I invite you to relax the neck and heavy the head. Now inviting more prana, more life force into our hips as we chase away any congestion, moving between warrior 1 hips and warrior 2 hips. And I'll just let you move that on your own pace a little bit. Yeah, whatever feels right. It could be a big swing, a little swing. Hands on shin, probably a little less of a swing because you're not so grounded. But you'll definitely have to use your center to keep your balance. We're going to move towards that revolved triangle. I promise I'm going to teach it properly this time. Squaring the hips front. Left hand comes to the sacrum. The palm faces up as if you're holding water. We want to keep the hips stable. From here, we're going to look up as we lengthen through both side waists. Keeping that length through side waist, we're going to turn our heart towards that straight front leg. Hand can either stay on the sacrum or we can set the shoulder. Maybe we stretch hand high to the sky. So I'll get in the shape. Kathy wants to keep her hand on our sacrum, which is totally cool. Left foot front, right foot back. I've walked the right hand in either on shin or on floor. I've lengthened. I twist and turn. I set the shoulder. I stretch hand high. And that's a proper Pavaditha Trikonasana, revolved triangle. Super hard pose, wherever you choose to work. Make sure you're breathing. Always finding that oasis of ease in the midst of our effort. And that's one of the things that makes it yoga. Coming out of Parivrtta Trikonasana, the revolved triangle, easily as we frame front foot with both hands. Big step back as you find your lunge, and then back to down dog as you will, either stretching straight back or cycling through your vinyasa. And again, vinyasa is just connected movement. There's lots of ways to connect movement as we flow through space with grace. And part of that grace is that easeful quality to your breath, of course. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail end of your breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding, and holding. From here, I'll invite you to toe heel the feet wide as we soften the knees and catch opposite elbows and gently swaying ourselves from side to side. Now switching the cross of the elbows, keep swaying side to side. And then back to center, releasing the elbows, hands find the thighs, the chin is tucked. We can use the assistance of the pushing of the hands into the thighs as we masterfully stack our vertebrae. Lifting the chin tall through the crown. Feel free to do this with me as we take the measurement of our body. We've got ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips, ears, shoulders, hips over heels. From here, I'll invite you to jump it in thin like a pin as we bring hands to heart. We've got the three options, that light press of the palms, that isometric engagement as we press the palms together, or that clasp of the fingers, keeping the heels of the hands together as we try to pull the hands apart. And then hands by our side. Those of you here for a 45-minute session, you can certainly feel free to wrap it up right now. I know Kathy has to get to work. Kathy, are you here for another 15 minutes, or would you like to?
I'm here for another 15 minutes.
You're here for, okay, so Kathy's here for the hour session.
Yeah.
Having said that, this would be a nice time.
Next week, though, I will have to leave.
Next week okay, excellent. So those of you that are still here, let's step or jump our feet nice and wide like a house. From here, hands find the hips. Let's angle the feet out. And we'll rock it into half squat. So in the yoga world, these are known as goddess squats. My son on the Santa Cruz rugby team calls these sumo squats. We bring elbows into inner thighs, knees over heels, keep rocking it side to side as we get into those hips. You feel up to a Bakasana, a crane pose today?
Sure.
So those of you that want to play with the crane, it's an arm balance. We can bring the feet in a little bit closer, the toes face front. We can ground down through two palms, the knees come high into the arms, and then we start to shift the weight into the hands as we float either one or both feet. You might play with lifting one foot and then lifting the other. Kathy has both feet up. From here, back to down dog as you will. You can ground the feet and walk the feet back. Some people like to slide the knees off of the back of the arms. It's like unfolding a piece of paper. It's like a jump back, but it starts from that place instead of the other place. In our down dog shape, I'll invite you to bring big toes together, heels slightly apart. And we're going to work that hip opener as we move it into the swan, also known as the pigeon. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. And then we're going to sweep right knee to right wrist. I like to keep the knee joint closed. Walking left foot back as we settle our hips down. When you find this place, I'll suggest opening up fourth chakra, shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat, and then leading with the heart as we work the arms in extension, settling our bodies down onto the floor as we invite the swan to take a nap. If your forehead easily reaches the floor, awesome. If that's not the case, you could always cross the forearms or make a pair of soft fists. As the swan takes a nap, I'll invite you to put your mind in your hips. This is an action, not a movement. I'll invite you to stretch the hips away from the midpoint as we find more space in the very center of yourself. And they're not going to go too far, but you'll get a marvelous stretch, and they're very hard to access. There's a lot of structures in there. The big obvious movements sometimes don't access those structures. So this action, we're able to start to connect with some of the more intricate structures in there. It's kind of like getting inside a Swiss watch. Those of you with the arms in extension, let's bring the arms back and let's take swan twist. So I invite you to bring a forearm perpendicular to your body on the bent knee side of things. Left hand off to the side. We can pull back with that hand, with that forearm as we turn our heart towards that hand. Any sudden tweaks or pangs, please back off. And then we'll find that swan twist the other way. Other perpendicular forearm, other outrigger hand, and pulling back with that forearm as we twist it out. From here, let's come back center, solidly grounding down through two hands, shoulder blades back and down. We can tuck the back toes. And from here, pushing into a three-legged dog. And I'll invite you to give that knee a shake as we chase away any congestion induced by that sleeping swan. And then back to our down dog. I'll invite you to keep pedaling the feet. Again, just working on any congestion, particularly in that right knee, but also throughout the rest of the body. Moving towards our swan on the second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that left hip. And then sweeping left knee to left wrist. Walking the right foot back as we settle our hips down. I like to unfurl that back foot to stretch out the place where the foot and the ankle connect. From here, setting the shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. And then keeping that openness, leading with the heart as we walk the hands forward. If your forehead easily comes to the ground, awesome. If not, you could always cross the arms or maybe finding a pair of soft fists. The idea is we want to have some stimulation. I'll get down a little bit lower here. So this would be sixth chakra, the third eye. And that's another very useful chakra as we move through our day. It's how we know things, either through reason and logic or beyond reason and logic, our intuition. In the sleeping swan, let's have it sleep a little bit more, and again, we'll find that same action as we try to bring the hips away from each other. They're not going to move, but you'll feel a nice subtle stretch in a lot of the smaller muscles that make up the whole hip complex. And it's a complex because it's complicated for good reason. Very stable, very mobile, helps us move, helps us breathe, helps us walk. Unfortunately, when we sit, it kind of becomes a big mass of congestion. So try not to sit too much. From here, walking the hands back, and we'll take a twist. Forearm on the bent knee side of things. Other hand out to the side. We pull back with that forearm as we find our twist. Relatively safe way to play with that low back here. Give it again if you feel any sudden pain or pang or a twinge, back off. This can be intense stuff. Make sure it's the right level of intensity. And now we're going to turn and find that twist the other way. Other perpendicular forearm, other outrigger hand, and then pulling back with that forearm as we find our twist. Feels so good in the right motion. And now coming back center, grounded down through two hands. We're going to tuck the back toes. We're going to find that three-legged dog as we lift that left leg high. Give it a shake as we thank our knee for the hard work it's doing for us here. And then grounding down through 2 feet. And I'll allow you to keep walking that dog side to side, stretching it out. And then I'll invite everyone to find a child's pose. Grounding the knees, sits bones back to the heels. As we nestle our belly inside our thighs, we'll suggest arms in extension. And again, try to ground that forehead onto the ground as we stimulate that sixth chakra, that third eye. Keeping hips and heels just as they are, I'll invite you to find a side bend as we walk our hands to one side. Stretching far hip to far heel. Now walking your hands through center and finding that side bend the other way as we stretch other hip to other heel. Now walking the hands center. Let's walk the hands in as we find our kneeling hero. The inner knees connect as we sit on our feet. I'll go sideways here. And my feet are unfurled as I stretch that place where the foot and the ankle connect. One palm supports the other as we find our breath. Relax shoulders, a slight tuck of the chin. Bringing our focus back inward. From here, moving towards Garudasana, eagle arms. Arms out to the side. We're going to bring right under left for either a cross shoulder hug, hooking the thumbs or catching the palms. Elbows up, up, and away as we breathe into back heart. Adding breath and movement. Inhaling as we lengthen through two side waist, a little bit of a back bend. On the exhale, as if we're rounding up and over a ball. Elbows towards navel, forehead towards hands. A couple more times, breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Inhaling, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in, and I'll invite you to hold as you take a big breath into back heart. Now letting your inhale bring you back up, long, tall spine, releasing the wind of the arms. One palm supports the other, finding your breath. So let's do our second side. Let's have a different expression of the toes as we tuck the toes and sit on our feet, stretching that place where the toe and the foot connect. One palm supports the other despite the intensity of sensation, still finding an easeful quality to your breath. Observing that sensation like you might watch a cloud in the sky. Garudasana, eagle arms, second side, arms out to the side, left under right. Either finding that cross shoulder hug, hooking the thumbs, or connecting the palms. Elbows up, up, and away as we breathe into back heart. Now adding breath and movement as we lengthen through two side waists, a little bit of a back bend. On the exhale, as if we're rounding up and over a ball. A couple more times, breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Inhaling, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in, and holding as we take a big breath into back heart. Now letting your inhale bring you back up, tall spine, releasing the wind of the arms. One palm supports the other as we find our breath. From here, let's find low squat, malasana, the garland pose, as we lift our knees. Big toes stay connected as we separate the knees and lay the body long between those knees. Length not just in the spine, but on the inner shins as we push the big toes down and spread those knees wide. All roads lead to Rome here, our center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel, and breathing into that place. From here, walking the hands in as we close the knees, challenging our balance as one hand finds the heart, the other hand joins. Either keeping hands at heart or stretching those hands high. Spinning the palms out, landing the knees lightly as we bring our feet off to that awkward side, examining our patterns of movement, and then finding 2 long legs in front. And I'll invite you to give those knees a little therapy, a hand on each side. Fingers find the back of the knee. And we can give that kneecap a little wiggle. Second side, a hand on each side. Fingers find the back of the knee. We can give that kneecap a little wiggle. From here, let's work a long, slow roll down under our backs. Make sure you have some room overhead, and we'll do a full body stretch when we get down there, and then we'll find our Shavasana. So starting from neutral or tall spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum, Frankenstein arms. From here, finding C-spine as we tuck tail and chin. We'll start to roll ourselves down. You can always find the assist as you catch the back of the thighs, or not. When we get down, I'll suggest full body stretch. Arms overhead, back of the head is down, not too low. Big breath in as we point fingers and toes. And then on your exhale, finding your Shavasana as we sweep our hands to our sides, widening our thighs, scooting the head back as you flatten your shoulders. Doing whatever else feels right and good for you this morning. And we'll be here 2 minutes or so, not too long. Tip of the tongue is now neutral in the mouth. A slight part to the lips, but still breathing in and out through your nose. Doing whatever else feels right and good for you this morning. As always, this practice is for us. So at home, certainly feeling free to hold your Shavasana as long as you'd like. I find after about 10, 12 minutes, the 4 gates, the 2 shoulders, the 2 hips really start to let go. And my mind goes to a place where I'm not asleep and I'm just relaxed and aware. Great place to be. For the purposes of this hour class online and Kathy in this room, I'm going to ring these bells 3 times. At home, of course, feeling free to stay wherever you are. For this room, I'll invite a wiggling of the fingers and toes, inviting more prana into our bodies. Now inviting that prana in towards center, just a gentle circling of the wrists and the ankles. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. Intuitive movement as we lay on the floor. Connecting with the most important teacher in this room and whatever room you're in at home. The teacher inside yourself, your own inner wisdom, connecting with that sense of knowing what's right and good for us, moment to moment, place to place. Now moving towards Apanasana as we draw one knee at a time in towards our heart. We can use our thighs to massage our low belly as we gently lift and lower the low back and hips. If other movement feels like it's calling, maybe circling, one leg at a time, both legs together. Again, just finding intuitive movement. And then keeping the knees close in as we start to rock it from side to side, like a boat bobbing in its bay. And then rocking to the right, long to the right arm, letting that right arm serve as a cushion for the head as we share a long, slow breath here on the floor. I'll invite you to let that breath sigh out through your mouth, softening your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, softening the corners of your eyes. And then neck relaxed, face soft as you press into your hands to come up and claim a cross-legged sit. As we sit, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to sit up a little straighter, a little taller. A slight tuck of the chin as 5 fingers of one hand find the ground. The palm of the other hand faces the sky. Ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in and watching as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and bow as you thank yourselves for practicing yoga and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within me honors and respects the light within you, and in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you at home for practicing with us. Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me. Of course. And we'll see everyone real soon. I'm teaching live classes here in the city. If you can get up to the city, awesome. I can probably get you a guest pass. Maybe not though with the COVID, but I'd certainly take you up onto the roof if Guido's still with us, and we can have a session up on the roof of this building here. Anyway, have a great day. Namaste, and maintain. Yeah, we'll see you later.